Hello, everybody. My name is Ari, and you are listening to Bass Tunes on KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. This has been the week was cool at first, and then something happened that, wasn't so good. You might not see a certain guest on the show very much after now, but hey, we're going to keep on trucking, and we're going to keep on moving. I also realized real quick that my notes weren't properly set up due to the stupid syncing with the notes app I've been using called Obsidian with iCloud Drive. All right. Today's topic is going to be something I was actually very excited about. A little damper on me because I wanted to share my excitement, but we can share the excitement with all you lovely listeners out there. Today we're going to be reviewing, can't believe we're doing this, The Death of Slim Shady, Coup de Grace, Eminem's 12th studio album, released today technically, although I heard it at 9 p.m. Pacific time last night because that's how releases work. It is his 12th studio album, as I said. It is 2 lead singles, Houdini and Toby, and that song featured Baby Tron and Big Sean. And the rapper made a point to say that it was a concept album and you got to listen to it front and back. So, I sat down last night and I did that while playing X Defiant, ranked. I'm bronze 10 or bronze X. I'm so good at the game, even though I was going to go on a whole rant at some point about how terrible the rank system is. I'm still playing it. And, I was going to do a different topic. I think I was going to do the Zelda CDI games, the Philips CDI. I'm getting into that sort of realm of the internet again for the 15th time, but hey, whatever, right? But we're not going to do that because I forgot that this album even came out, and then I sat down and I was like, wow, I actually have a lot to say about this one. So, y'all know the rapper, the main man, the myth, the legend, but here's the thing. His past career, people don't really like him anymore. It seems that he's fallen off, and obviously, in terms of the fall from grace, it's been significant since, 2004 onwards, just sort of became a slow descent, but it seems that the modern generations just don't care, and he's like some old man screaming at clouds. Like, what do we say? 2017's revival probably was that. The man tried to make a more mature record and ended up putting out, I believe, his worst album, his entire worst record of basically all time. And this is a 20-year-long career or something, almost 30 in a few years. So that's pretty cool. Well, it's not cool. It sucks. But the fact that, and then what happened? Kamikaze, the next year was him basically going on, all these mumble rappers, they suck. Oh, why is everybody hating on me? Basically, right, for an entire album. And then a couple years later, Music to Be Murdered By comes out. And solid, a much better improvement. He finally stopped working with Rick Rubin, rapping on rap rock beats. Not that I'm a hater of rap rock or rap rock beats, but you got to do some new stuff. And I think the number one issue with his music, at least to the modern ear, in the modern age, is the sort of flow the sort of flow he's been doing. It's 2, actually. First flow, second subject matter. Not in order. The flow, staccato-y, very stilted, cramming in syllables, that sort of stuff. And that's also combined with a bunch of corny punchlines, right? Because I believe, and the subject matter has to do with this, because he ended up saying basically what he had to say. I mean, he, made music about his upbringing, his status as a famous dude, his kids, his marriage, his mom, his dad, and then his overdose, and then getting past his drug addiction, all that cool stuff. And now it's sort of just like dudes at the top, and he's not much to say. And that's sort of what Revival was supposed to be, this mature album of, I don't know where I'm going from here, this sort of uncertainty. But unfortunately, people did not like it. So he went back in. And this is where this record comes off of. And it's not like the last record that he released was necessarily bad or even close to his worst. It was solid, pretty decent, had some good singles on it, but it kind of just felt like a collection of songs not really related to each other and not really in a cohesive form. This record is the total opposite. It is an entire cohesive concept to an extent, for the most part, front to back, telling a story, and again shedding on, his favorite topic himself, shedding on. And I don't know, there's a lot of interesting stuff here. And of course, the number one thing I think with the singles leading up to this record was he's just going to go clown on, what's he going to clown on? Well, what do we hear? Gen Z, cancel culture, trans people, or I think he talked about RuPaul. There's a lot of that on this record, unfortunately. But to an extent, I believe that it is intentional in a way to sort of highlight to himself, his listeners, at the point of the album, saying, hey, this old part of me, this old crass alter ego of myself, is just not funny anymore. It's not really worth it. But the thing is, I feel like that sort of thing has been kind of coming in and out. One of my, I guess we'll get into this later, but it does feel like some of this, it feels like, shouldn't this have been done already? Yeah, people were wondering, and also another thing of note with this record is that compared to the past several years of his discography, this record was actually marketed. It had a marketing campaign and everything. It had singles, it had teasers, it had merch. Well, they always have merch. But for the most part, it was shadow drops. Kamikaze just dropped. And then I remember where I was. I was with an old friend of mine who I don't want to hang out with him anymore. He's a poopy head. But we were playing, I think we were in my house playing Forza Horizon 3, and then it dropped, and I was just listening to it. I was like, wow, this is so good. And I still don't mind the record, honestly. Like, everybody's hating on it. It's not that bad. But that's besides the point. Let's get into the actual record. As I said previously, it's a concept album. Most of the tracks flowing into each other very nicely. Seems to be the rapper reckoning with the Slim Shady alter ego popular earlier in his career. And the beginning of the record is him sort of, the alter ego taking hostage of M, kidnapping him, and sort of takes him over, and they argue and bicker on interlude tracks until one song, which we'll get into later. By the way, spoiler warning, I suppose, if you haven't heard the record front to back. Obviously, I don't know how much of a spoiler you need, but, it was a cool experience hearing it all without any sort of knowledge aside from the couple singles. And I suppose the track list and I guess some of the leaked features, but I think when it came out, it actually didn't have any features. I believe now, because I looked at it today, the features are there, but not all of them. There's a couple of really funny hidden ones, and we will dive on those. So, hey, by the way, if you haven't heard this record, or if you care to hear it at some point, maybe tune out now. At least, well, maybe don't tune out because, KCI is the greatest station on the planet. But, just a warning for y'all, because we're going to go into it deep. And also another note is that this is all first impressions, right? I'm going to sit on this probably for another week or so. But this is finally good timing that a record comes out. It's one that I'm actually interested in enough to sit down and listen to it all the way through and form my thoughts on it before the next day's review. Amazing, right? This hasn't happened before. And it sort of alternates, as I said, between short interludes and longer songs. He talks a lot about being canceled and canceling himself and Gen Z being scared of the music and they're hating on him. And it seems that the most obviously controversial stuff comes from the alter ego and may or may not be meant to be corny and embarrassing. So it goes into more shock value. I'm going to list a few subjects here. Christopher Reeve for the 15th time, although there's a reason for Christopher Reeve to be on this record in terms of like the song itself that it's on. Trans people, he doesn't really know what pronouns are, unfortunately. Caitlyn Jenner and her, I refer to as her dead name, are referenced to a lot, which to me is kind of funny. Like, I feel like in terms of the culture of that, I feel like Caitlyn Jenner has been it's like 10 years too late, right? He actually also samples South Park on this thing, which, he always had a bit of an affinity for the show. When did that season come out? Season 19 of South Park in 2015. Talking about the PC police and all this stuff on this record. Literally almost 10 years past its prime. I can't believe it. South Park season 19 was 10 years ago almost. Wow. Or 9 years. Almost 9 years. Sorry. Yeah, that's the one with, that was the one with, that's the one with PC Principal, and then they talked about Caitlyn Jenner, whatever. I don't care. and there's a good amount, and it's funny, not really, but it's like there's a couple of times on the record where he sort of drops the act a little and is like, yeah, I'm cool with it, but it's also just sort of in like that stilted, hackneyed, like probably a little bit more crass and like ignorant and not good than probably should be at this time, but I don't know, what are you gonna do? Something about, oh yeah, you can do that if you want, but I wouldn't want to be with you. Oh, I'm not attracted to trans people. Like, cool, I don't care. None of your business. But yeah, what else? Oh, and the other thing to note is that one of his kids is non-binary now. Or now, I don't know how long, but it turns out one of his children is identifying as non-binary now, and he refers to them as their name and everything. So it's all respectful. And they were even in the music video for the lead single Houdini. So it wasn't like I think the whole, the family's all that. It's not like he's like, I hate these things. No. Little People, the song Trouble is kind of funny because she's like, I'm going to get myself canceled. And he's like, I don't like blind people and deaf people. And I'm like, okay, whatever. That's just, and of course the whole thing is that he's saying these stupid stuff. And then the real man's like, what are you saying? Like, oh, this is bad. Candace Owens gets a jab at her, which, sorry y'all, I'm in favor of that. And it's funny because there's a whole song on Revival dedicated to bashing the 45th, and also a freestyle, which was, that's an awfully hot coffee pot. Man, this guy sucks. I'm sorry, I like it, but there's a lot of good stuff. I wrote the lyrics down, but I don't need to say them. There's a whole song, which I'm probably my least favorite song on this record, just out of the gate. It's Road Rage. He's like, oh, fat people. It's like fat shaming isn't bad, or like going against fat acceptance instead of being honest and taking initiative to lose weight. Let's see. He throws out a line of Amber Heard. Okay, so that does mean the record was made at some time in the modern eye, but that's still a little late. P. Diddy, notorious man in the news a lot. P. Diddy has a lot of lines relating to him, actually, but there is one that's actually censored because I think he says, what is it? Next idiot ask me is getting his beat worse than Diddy did, then nothing. And I think it's the specific lady who was in the lawsuits got revealed. I don't remember. Well, I wrote it down, but whatever. Let's see. He seems to confirm that his stepfather did beat him up in some way, which he sort of alluded to over the top and crassly in a couple of songs from the years. Let's see. Here's an interesting one, and I was going to talk about this. The song that was about Christopher Reeve, the former Superman actor who I guess was paralyzed from the waist, from basically I think it was the neck down, and then passed away, and he just kept rhyming about him because I guess he had so many. I guess Reeve, and he doesn't even say Reeve, he says Reeves. That's not his last name, dude. Still does it because it's funny to rhyme with. The song Medicine Ball from 2009's Relapse was pretty funny on that. I was gonna do a Relapse review, but I didn't end up doing that. Maybe I will, but I don't see the point. I can touch on it here. Because Christopher Reeve actually spits a verse, and it's him doing like a vocoder voice, and is like, I'm going to kill you. And it's pretty funny. But the song on here is Brand New Dance, and it's a outtake or a unreleased song from 2004's Encore, and it sounds exactly like it. And it's one of the more like goofy, dumb, when he was just absolutely blasted out of his mind off of painkillers, I believe, songs. It's a good one. And it's funny because Caitlyn Jenner gets referenced in it. So people are wondering, wait, is this a modern song? No, it's not. You can clearly tell if you listen to it. The line Caitlyn Jenner is added in, is like cut in. But it sounds pretty natural when you're listening to it. You just have to, if you like focus in on it, you're like, oh, wait, no, this is not real. But the rest of it is entirely from 2004. And he even said like, oh, Kim Jong something. And I'm like, well, he didn't say Kim Jong. Well, I guess Kim Jong-il was the supreme leader of North Korea at the time. So, hey. Let's see. It seems that not just the first song as I wrote, but a lot of the songs end up actually using, and I hate to use this buzzword, artificial intelligence, AI. No, but I'm serious. Basically, in terms of AI, like voice generation and singing, like you've seen a lot of these AI song covers. What it ends up being, actually, I believe, is this new thing, which I think only came out like sometime after the voice generations really started going crazy, was this. You basically record yourself saying or saying whatever, And then the machine learning whatever basically superimposes the voice on top of it or strains the voice with the reference. So I believe that's what he's done for a decent amount of the songs on here. When he's doing the Shady voice, it's not just him saying, I'm Shady. No, it's I sincerely believe, and I don't think it's been confirmed or anything, but I sincerely believe that there was some sort of AI whatever doing on the vocals. Which, everybody and their mother seems to have an opinion on that technology, and a lot of people, especially the younger ones, are like, this is stupid. It's either AI bros or, I don't know, people being like, this is just bad and should not exist. Especially for art, copyright, and stealing work and things like that. This I can kind of see. I mean, he's training it on his own work. He's training it for himself. He probably contracted some company. I don't know how it works, and I don't really care. But it's interesting. And it's cool. It's very apparent on the first song, but it's noticeable on other ones like Evil. And on the song Antichrist, which is actually my favorite song on here by far, I believe, aside from the single. Not even the singles. I didn't love the singles. He sounds like he's doing the Recovery era voice where he's just yelling. And that you can tell has some like weird artifacting on it. But the fact that that's even a thing is strange. And I don't even think there's any reference to the fact that it's that. He just does it. And I'm like, okay, sure. But he basically goes through all of his eras vocally on this record. And that's really interesting to me. Because it feels like the first time where it's sort of a weird mesh of the old and the new, even if you had to use some tech. Because obviously, listen, how old is that first record? Like 20-something years old. It's going to be very difficult for anybody in their 50s or whatever to sound like they were when they were in their late 20s. Especially with voice being more hoarse and raspy due to age and probable, inhaling things and the like, and just whatever use of it, right? With time, your voice just changes. And you have to adapt and sound differently, especially because after the OD or whatever in 2007, he had to learn how to rap again. And that's sort of partially what people think he did, the weird accents and the weird styles. But, I mean, he can still pull out the old stuff every so often. He just doesn't really want to. And that's the number one thing. People were wondering, like, can we just get some old flows? Can we just, like, not do this weird ding, ding, of course I'm on torn. I was driving over a Porsche in the floorboards. That's what was that, Chris, who's cover? Very funny. Not a good guy. I saw a video about it with this whole thing where he's talking about just, like, him doing some bad things with, younger ladies. Not good. Good impression, though. Horrible, though. Anyways, let's see where else. A lot of features are on this thing. White Gold. Oh, spoiler alert, by the way. White Gold, JID on the song Fuel, which is a really good verse. Very good song. Bizarre comes back on the end of Antichrist. He says some crazy stuff. Unfortunately, says the T slur, which is not nice. I was not happy about that. Talks about wanting to something with Caitlyn Jenner and also something with Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion and I guess her getting shot in her foot by Tory Lanez, I think. That gets referenced a few times. Very, very in date. Very in date. Very corny. Seriously. Sly Piper, as Mill, Skylar Grey. Yeah. Only one song, though. I think you'd recognize the fact that Skylar Grey needs to take a seat. Take a break. Not come on the album so much. Jelly Roll and Baby Tron and Big Sean, as I mentioned earlier. In terms of these features, they're all pretty solid. Most of them end up just doing the hooks. Ez Mill does a whole verse in a different language, and I said to add the language. I don't know what language it is, but it's pretty dang interesting and pretty dang impressive and cool, the fact that it's even there. But I think the shock value is partially in jest, as I said earlier, whatever. Here's the thing. Guilty Conscience 2 is sort of the climax of the record. The rest of it, the last few songs, are back to the old, back to the modern M, and it's like, whatever. A little. There's some cool songs on here, but some of the topics, which I'll get into, I feel like have been done before better. Even on Revival. We'll get to that. But here's the thing, right? It doesn't sound like the original at all. I mean, I told my friend Josh, who used to grow up on this guy's music, and, he's still like, oh, his music now is like corny. I don't really like it. But, he's listening to it now because he's like, it's something he grew up as a kid, same way. Yeah. Shout out to you, Josh. But yeah, he was like, oh, because I didn't tell him, he didn't look at the track list. He just clicked play and just didn't look at it or went on YouTube or something. I don't know. And I told him, like, yo, Wait till he gets to Guilty Conscience. He was like, wait, there's Guilty Conscience too? And I'm like, yeah, dude, didn't even know. But yeah, it's him. It's the alter ego and him arguing with each other. He's saying that, oh, you were nothing before me. You were a socially awkward loser that got picked on, and you're scared of Shady because I was what you used to be before you let the criticism get to you, which is pretty good self-awareness. And that Shady was created to say the things that he was thinking, but was afraid to say without any sort of scapegoat. And he kind of apologizes to all the people he beef with, and then shoots himself in Shady in the song. And then he wakes up, and it's a dream. He wakes up from a dream like 3 times on it, and the scream he does every time is pretty funny. It's pretty funny. But yeah, the flows are really good, right? They're just crazy, way less staccato stuff, a good mix of style, some fast, some slow, some auto-tune. Auto-tune? And some on a drill beat. Houdini works way better on this record than as a single. And Toby kind of does, but not really. With the pacing, with the where it's placed, I don't think so. His vocals are still mixed in a way I don't like, unfortunately. A lot of the beat frequencies are cut out, so it sounds like muffled. But the thing is, you can kind of tell between the two, Shady and him, because of that sort of difference. Yeah. Okay. I'll be back in one moment. I need to get my notes sorted out. So maybe, let's see if it's still going. These days. Oh, yeah, there you go. Enjoy a song previously heard on Shannon's iPod. I'll be back in like 1 second. BRB. You like Shannon's iPod? I like her iPod too. It seems like it's a pretty cool iPod. We're back with Bass Tunes on KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. Turns out that no, I didn't have any more notes. I didn't have any more notes, unfortunately. But we're not done. We're getting there, but we're not fully finished with the review. And honestly, it's a solid 30. Solid 30. Not like we're going to cut it out after the 30. You know, I could take some calls if anybody's got any opinions on the record. Or, you know, we could talk about some other stuff. I don't know. Let's continue. Let us continue. Bizarre has the dumbest feature, as I said, but I laughed pretty hard at the fact that, yeah, he came on it. And honestly, the offensiveness of it, not unfortunately, whatever. I'm not going to be like it, you know. I find shocking things funny for the shock value, not necessarily for the other stuff related to it. I don't agree with it. It's not good. I don't agree with that. Trans rights, LGBTQ rights. You shouldn't fat shame people. Any other offensive thing that, you know, that might be said on this record, I don't agree with it. It's obviously intended to shock and annoy people, and it really didn't. Yeah. Anyways, the thing with the Bizarre's feature was that it was funny because the fact that he wasn't like, oh, everybody's going to cancel me, and like sort of backtrack himself a lot. And I guess that's sort of the point of the record, sort of just Eminem being like, Slim Shady's not good. I got to stop him. He's evil monster demon. Ah. But no, he talks about Megan Thee Stallion, goes, mwah. Very funny. Or goes, mwah. And he just comes in on the end of it, just randomly. And then I couldn't even tell it was him because he says something, and then it like slows down. And then and the beat switches, and he just starts rapping, and it's bizarre, man. Who? You guys hear Amityville? Man, horrendous. Bizarre is such a, I don't even know what to say. I heard his parody of Ice Cube's Today Was a Good Day, or It Was a Good Day. That was funny, but man, he is just, his deadpan delivery and he's not super adept at rapping. It's a lot. I don't know, man. It's a lot. Superman video, I was in the back. That was pretty funny though on my band. Anyways, let's continue. So the last two songs, the song, is it the last? It's not. No, it is. Sorry, the 15th and then the last song, Temporary, featuring Skylar Grey, and Somebody Save Me with Jelly Roll. I guess sort of a hook feature, I believe. If Jelly Roll was an artist that people love, I don't know him, unfortunately. Let's take a look at Jelly Roll. Oh, he's a country guy. Ah. I thought he was like that one country guy. It kind of looked like that one guy. What's that? That stupid like country song about gas prices or something? The government? I don't remember it. You guys know what I'm talking about. It was some culture wars stuff. But yeah, these are both sort of like letters and messages to his it's sort of like an alternate what if I actually OD'd and, didn't get my life together after 2007. And, you know, I kind of felt something on Temporary. Nothing too crazy. I feel like in terms of like the baby, I'm gonna miss you when I'm dead. Don't be sad about your dad dying or when I'm gone. I miss you. I love you. Like a I love you, my daughter song, which has a lot of those, and they're all pretty solid. But I mean, when I'm gone goes crazy. Goes crazy. What am I saying? When I'm gone is probably the most, and that's on a Curtain Call, the first one, the Greatest Hits album, which has a few other amazing songs. But yeah. And I feel like Temporary and Somebody Save Me were kind of already done better on Revival with the last two songs, Castle and A Rose, which are basically the only two songs of merit on that record in terms of like classic good storytelling and rapping and just a good subject matter. And for reference, Castle is a fictionalized version of him writing letters to his daughter while he's sort of, when he first had her, when he started making music and blowing up, and then the drugs like a few years later, and then him falling over on the toilet, which he references also on Relapse 2009. So this one incident is a very big part of his later career. This one, well, not really incident. What am I saying? It's a whole part of his life. A very bad part, and one that is very, important, right? But it was also sort of like a message to people. Anyways, A Rose like him on the hospital bed or something. I don't know if he actually passes or not. I don't remember. But similar on Somebody Save Me. Do I have the lyrics for that one? Let me just make sure. Temporary is like, yeah. It's sad mostly because they use recordings during his child's childhood. Also, she's like married, I think has a kid now maybe, and she has a podcast. Bizarre reference is, he's like, "Where's Haley at? I want to get on that podcast," or something like that. And he's like, and I was like, "Why not?" It was pretty funny. But yeah, and there's a cute little clip at the end where she curses a child, and that was nice, sweet, pretty sad. And I hate to say this, and I'm not disparaging the dude or the family or the emotions or the realness of it, but it felt, I don't know, a little bit like tugging at the heartstrings, a wee bit. But that's some real emotion, that's some raw stuff. Maybe I'm numb to it. Maybe I'm just emotionally numb right now. Maybe I'm not a dad, so I don't know what it's like to have that sort of that undying love and affection for my child. I don't have that because I don't have a child. I feel that kind of for my dog, like pretty much, but it's different when it's a kid. Anyways. And Somebody Save Me is the last song, and is an alternate universe where he didn't sober up and died when he was addicted to drugs in the mid 2000s. And the beginning of the song that was the one I was like, man, it's one of his kids telling him to get up, and he's just like off his rock or off some meds, and he's like, and he just can't get up, and he's like, his kid's having to deal with that, and it's so strange that this, or maybe it was after he got over it, because I think they talked about it in an interview. I don't remember, but I think it was that. That's what I could tell at least. And this sort of stuff was referenced on songs like Castle, Deja Vu from Relapse, which is also another good of that kind of song. And he's talking about how, like, I'm dead, I'm going to miss my kids growing up, getting married, having kids, being successful. And that's a pretty interesting way to, and the album sort of closes on a pretty somber note. But here's the thing, right? I really feel like Guilty Conscience 2 should have kind of been the ending. Because, and not that this is a bad album or anything, I don't know why I'm being so critical. Nah, whatever. I think the reason why I feel this way is that it feels like it sort of builds up to Guilty Conscience 2 as like this sort of last hurrah. But then it doesn't really touch on the whole Slim Shady's dead thing and moving past that, really, aside from maybe Bad One or Head Honcho, one of those ones. And it really feels like that could have just been the ending. And I guess Somebody Save Me is a good closer, but it doesn't really fit with the rest of the thematic themes. It's like the first and second half, like the second half is just modern Eminem, and it's like a little better than normal, but it's like, I don't really want to hear this. Give me some old stuff, right? At least in my opinion. But I mean, pretty solid record overall. So Oh yeah, I gotta say this first. Is this his last record? Because it really feels like it. The Death of Slim Shady, Coup de Grace, like the last act. Is this going to be his swan song? Is this going to be is this his 44.444 like Jay-Z, which a lot of people wanted? Oh yeah, by the way, real quick, the views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily represent those of KUCI, its management, or the UC Board of Regents. This is Bass Tunes, KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm Ari. If you're just tuning in, we are closing up the review of Eminem's latest album, The Death of Slim Shady, Coup de Grace, which I am pretty much a pretty solid fan of. Yeah, we're sort of diving in on the career and everything because I never really talked about this dude, but, you know, he's a very formative part of my childhood. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Is this his last record? Kind of feels like it. But it's like a new mesh of the old and new. A lot of it due to the fact that, like, you know, he's intentionally pulling out those ones, literally ripping a song from 2004, like a Lucy. And honestly, just, I want more of those Lucies. If he could just release more of those. There was some leaked on a 2007, which is going to be his last record, maybe, King Mathers in 2007. And the one, Goat, was the pretty popular one. But there's a few also on the Re-Up, which is actually released, but, you know, anyways. Last for a while, or at least last with Slim Shady, but it's like, well, I feel like he tried to do the whole mature thing and like more adult and like tackle serious subjects and apologize, and he tried to do that sort of closing he already did that closing chapter in a way with the Marshall Mathers LP2, and then went into a more mature route, you know, talking about politic and stuff, I don't know, just whatever, and, you know, worrying about the fans and, you know, being uncertain or whatever on Revival. But then, you know, then he goes into old man yelling at clouds mode on Kamikaze, and then he just sort of just like, I don't care, I'm gonna do whatever I want, I'm just gonna poop on the track, I'm gonna make fart noises, I'm gonna make dumb punchlines about Chris Christopherson and being at the crib playing Fortnite with your grandma. Also rhyming, I can rhyme orange with banana. Banana. Those are all, by the way, from the song Tone Deaf from the side B, sort of deluxe re-release of Music to Be Murdered By, which came out, I think, later that year after the pandemic hit. Shout out to that. No shout outs to that. Okay. But it also, this current one also feels refreshed and renewed. It really feels like, I don't know, maybe he's just going to go on a new path, or maybe he's going to write out the stuff. I don't know. I doubt he'll ever quit. I think he loves rapping too much. It's like his yeah, I'll say this. It's like a autistic special interest. Like, I got special interests, and I think his is just rapping, right? He has a funny line about Asperger's and having bun. And you got buns? I have Asperger's. Well, he says something else, but, you know, funny joke. Off of Remind Me from Revival, stupid line. Also, Legacy to me kind of feels like him just feeling like an alien and a human in a different race, in a different, like, species world, and learning to overcome and being like a weird, awkward kid. Maybe being on the spectrum, who knows? Some people saying that. And honestly, as a guy on that, shout out, if that's the case, my idol. I remember when Elon Musk was like, "Oh, I'm on the spectrum," and everyone was like, I was like, "Oh, that's pretty sweet." Back before everybody hated him, and, you know, he retweeted a bunch of poopy fart right-wing stuff on that Twitter. But anyways, well, to me that was like, well, if a guy with that can be like a quadrillionaire or whatever, dude, we're set. But I already knew that because I'm swag and I'm gonna make $1 billion before I die. And if I don't, I'm not gonna ask for the man upstairs to smite me down. I don't want to do that. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever quit. But, you know, it kind of does feel like a closing chapter in the record. But overall, best songs on this record, in my humble opinion: Antichrist, Renaissance, Brand New Dance, Fuel, Guilty Conscience 2, and I said Habits, maybe not. Let me think what else. And I say Houdini's a fun little single, but whatever. What else? I guess Temporary or Somebody Save Me are solid. Toby, I mean, I don't know. I don't really like the beat. I didn't love that one. And also, Babytron's chorus being Tobey Maguire got bit by a spider, but see, me, it was a go. Like, that's so corny. But, like, you know, it's like Trouble as well. Even though it's a 40-second thing, and it uses the beat actually that gets later done in Guilty Conscience too, which I didn't even realize when listening to the record. It's not the exact same beat. It's like Trouble's like a skeletal version of Guilty Conscience too, and then that song sort of builds on it, adds more stuff, and doesn't do the da na 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 na. Like, that's a little fun little melody gets stuck in my head. Oh yeah, the beats on this thing are pretty solid too. There's a couple of really nice ones. They're not all like classic, Dr. Dre. I think Dre's on the track Lucifer. Oh, I forgot to mention the breaking news sketch where, what does he say? Hold on. I don't have the lyrics in front of me. He's like, breaking news, Gen Z's protesting. Like, he's like, they're protesting because of this new album. Everyone's protesting and everyone's so offended. And obviously no one's going to be offended by this, but we're going to get to that. We'll get to the last part, okay? It's too much forced controversy, and people don't care, and they're not being offended. They're just like, oh, look at the old man making his lines about Caitlyn Jenner, like, almost 10 years too late. Yeah. And a lot of the same topics. I think someone counted like 7 songs have reference to trans people, and I'm like, come on, dude. Like, maybe that's a little more recent because it seems that everybody and their mother over the last year or so, like, is going straight in on that, like, culture war type stuff. But at the same time, like, come on, dude. Come up with a new topic. At least he's, like, begrudgingly, like, I don't really care what you do. Same thing with I guess, gay marriage in 2013. Like, right around the time that it was Obergefell, the Supreme Court ruling that legalized it in all 50 states. Shout out to that ruling, by the way. If you overturn that, I'm going to have a lot of words to say to you. No, siree. We don't do that here. Okay, but... Oh, and Christopher Reeve, which I'll always find funny just because it's so stupid. That's funny, him beating a dead horse. Also, the fact that the beat has horse galloping on... Brand New Dance is so stupid and so dumb. It's like I don't think I could see it fitting it. It really does feel like a lead single type of thing. It really feels like Just Lose It in terms of that vein. So I don't know if it could really, because I mean that stretch of Encore was insane. I love that stretch because of how stupid it is. There's Rain Man, Gluteus Like That, Big Weenie. My First Single, and these are some like crazy beats too, like mostly Dre beats, and he's just saying the dumbest stuff on here and still rhyming. I'm sorry, I find it funny. I have the sense of humor of a 6-year-old. Maybe that's why. Maybe we will. I just jumped up in my chair. Okay, it really does feel like a closing chapter. And it's a cool concept, and it's a nice little thing. Not the best executed concept, but the fact that this is even a thing is pretty darn awesome. I will say that. And hopefully the next record isn't going to be the same sort of just skedaddling on the track like Music to Be Murdered By, like the later stuff. But it probably will, but who cares? We have 3 amazing records, and... Well, I guess maybe a 4th with Relapse. I mean, that one's really growing on me. I was going to review it, but I don't know if I will. But I still think it's a better record. I mean, especially the Beast. Like, in terms of the ones I've been playing a lot, just real quick. Insane. So gross to listen to. Just ugh. But, like, just crazy. And he's rapping like crazy. He has some of his most insane flows on that thing. And it doesn't sound like... he's trying to fit every single syllable he can in one bar, which is the biggest problem with his later music in terms of my personal enjoyment. It doesn't feel natural. The whole thing with M's old music is the fact that he flowed and it felt natural, like he's just having a conversation with you. And he could go in and out of the pocket of the beat, and he could do some crazy, technical stuff, but he wasn't always doing that. It was all in all about the rhythm. Rap music is rhythm. It's rhythmic poetry. That's what hip-hop, or I guess rap, is, in my opinion. You can call in at 949-824-5824 right now to dispute that. That's our station line, 949-824-5824. If you've heard The Death of Slim Shady and want to talk about it, thoughts on it, or thoughts on the guy, or thoughts on anything music-related, or anything in the world, call in, say your voice. We will have you on. Just don't curse. And by we, I mean me. Oh! Taking my ball on the refill side is just... I'm like Houdini. Tuck my eeny... The flows on that are crazy, and he's just talking about... It's not as much like Slim Shady talking about like I'll say that... I haven't even gotten to the rating. Okay. The good tracks off a relapse. Insane, Taking My Ball, Medicine Ball, Deja Vu, My Mom, maybe some other ones too. Overall rating, I said 8 out of 10, probably like a 7.5. But then again, I don't know what I gave Music to Be Murdered by. So if I think I remember giving that a 7 in my head. So if I gave that a 7, this has got to be an 8. I need to sit with it more. Most of this, if not all of this, was written because yes, I don't know if you can see this. I wrote this down. I write stuff down sometimes, y'all. I'm not just talking off the top of my head and basically making a bunch of nothing. Although I do that every so often. Who knows? Who knows? We're back in business. Hey. But it feels so good to be back. Yeah, it does. Anyways, it's wow. He made a good album that had a theme and felt cohesive. It's been so long. Please just do this again or don't. Or just make a you don't even need to make a 444. This is your 444. I don't even care anymore. Just talk about a bunch of, I don't know. My boy, this piece what all true warriors strive for. I just wonder what Ganon's up to. Stop. I wasn't going to do the Zelda CDI episode. Maybe next week if I don't have a guest on. Although you very well might see one the Friday from now on my birthday. Or not on my birthday. My birthday's on Monday. The 22nd. Send me best wishes and gifts. Follow BassTunes KUCI on Instagram. I forgot to say that in the halfway break. Follow BassTunes KUCI on Instagram now. If you don't, I'm going to be sorely disappointed. You wouldn't want to make me disappointed, would you? No, you would not. And also, another plug. Go to KUCI FM on Instagram. We just had a giveaway. It's over. You're not going to get it anymore. And I don't know when the next giveaway I'm going to do is, but hopefully soon. I don't know. Summer's been busy. But you can check out the latest video from KUCI live performances from Tommy's Broken Sound on Monday. Last Monday from 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. Guess what it was? It was... Oh, the headphones unplugged. Oh. Savior Complex. Yes, that's right. Savior Complex. A pretty cool band. I filmed and edited that one. Shout out to me. I be doing it all, and I used a app called Kino to film it. It was $20, and it was stupid because it had no white balance, and the lighting was all orpal. It was purple, but it worked out. It looked pretty good. And the band really liked it, and I liked it. So, hey, guess what? Go to youtube.com/@KUCI88.9FM. Don't forget the point. That's our new channel. It has the KUCI logo with the blue background. Man, I'm going off the rails tonight. Ooh-wee. Call in right now if you want to talk. Last 10 minutes at 949-824-5824. But yeah, I don't know, man. Cool record. I'm a big fan. I hope that people are liking it. What do you think Anthony Fantano's going to rate it? Oh, I don't know. A 2 out of 10 maybe? I think he'll give it like a 5 because he liked Toby. So, who knows? But man, my voice is kind of hoarse and giving out right now. Oh boy. I just wonder what Ganon's up to. What else is new in the world that I was interested in? I don't know, but you know what I do know? Ooh, oh yeah, Glory, her playlist is here. I wonder what I'm going to do with the KUCI Techno Synth Pop Show playlist from... I forgot I don't know what her DJ name is, but anyways, shout out to Glory. You're the GOAT. You made a very, very, very good. You seem to be going crazy on the air. I think she's the 12 to 2 show now. But yeah, we're going to go with, what do we go with? Popcorn Videodrome. How long is that? 4 minutes? Yeah. All right. Guess what, y'all? We're going to go to break real quick for like a second. You're listening to Bass Tunes on KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. If I don't come back, I love you guys, but I probably will. But follow my Instagram for the show at BASEDTUNESKUCI on Instagram. You want to chat real quick while we still have time? Although, technically, if you want to let the call run over, I think the 5 p.m. shows are recording, so is a filler for the summer because the 5:30 p.m. host is not here for the summer. You can call 949-824-5824 to have a quick little discussion if you want. You got anything to say. Just don't say slurs or anything, And shout out to this record. I'm a pretty big fan. All right, we'll be back in maybe a couple minutes. I need to get some water. My throat is hoarse. Like a horse that goes, yeah. All right, back in a moment. It's so extreme. Yes, mi amor. This is such an extreme show. This is Bass News on KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. We're back and we're going crazy. I had more coffee. I am jittery. No, I'm fine. But I might go home and play some X-Defiant, Tom Clancy's new first-person shooter by Ubisoft. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. We're going cuckoo bananas crazy. I wish that I had this energy in the morning because, listen, what if we do bass tunes in the morning? What if we move it to a morning time show where I just go and basically scream in people's ears to wake them up? Isn't that how morning show hosts are? I don't know. But listen, all right? If you weren't listening, we were just discussing Eminem's latest studio record, The Death of Slim Shady, Coup de Grace. And unfortunately for you, that portion of the episode and basically the whole thing is done. But if you want to check it out, you can follow Basstunes KUCI on Instagram or go to basedari.com or I guess youtube.com/@basedari to check out the recording, or if it's up there. I don't know. It might be up there. I don't know. Because I'm feeling pretty darn confident about this review. I'm fired up. I feel good. And honestly, yeah. Things aside from this week being kind of a bit of a, I don't know what's the word, the dookie button. You press the button and dookie. It's all good. It's all fun because guess what, y'all? We're better than that. We are so much better than that. We will come back stronger. I'm like the Big Joester. Also, Big 46 ain't doing so hot either. I don't know. Oh, Kamala Harris president? I don't know. I'm about to do that. This is not a statement. No, but like, we're going to build back better, man. Come on. Look. The idea that... No, this is Ronald Reagan. You're listening to Bass Tunes on KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. Every single UCI person under the age of, I don't know, 50, every single person listening has just tuned out because they heard the bad man downstairs, Ronald Reagan. Did you know there's a statue of him in my city? That's pretty funny, right? Right by City Hall. It's like, bro is the GOAT? I don't think so. Who else is the GOAT? LeBron or Ye the GOAT? Ye is not the GOAT. Yes, that's not cap. Okay, but yeah. I think this is a pretty solid episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I might talk for longer, but we might just play some music up until the 5 p.m. jazz show because Brian SoCal New Waver, he's got some jazzy jazz coming up. And then at 5:30, we've got Ann hosting Operation Community, where she is going to talk about the community and do what actual PA shows do and what I should do, interview people, because I haven't had a guest on my show actually I had a guest a few weeks ago, but she's moving to Los Angeles, so she's probably not going to come down, but she might call in. Yo, Moxie, what's your actual name? I think I saw it somewhere, whatever. Yo, Moxie, guess what? If you're listening, shout out to you because thanks for listening. It's a pretty good episode, I think, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope all the listeners out there enjoyed it as well. Hey, man, $5, $10. Okay. I'm sort of go off the rails here, but what can we listen to? Let's take a look here. What do we got? Can I play some 92? I don't know if there's any curses on here because I know that, like, this is the two of them. Oh, yeah, by the way, we might have that band coming soon. 92 on the Friday after next or after because guess what, y'all? We're going to have that pre-birthday special because I'm going to be 21 on Monday. Unfortunately, because if it was on a Saturday, maybe we could. No, we're not doing that. I was joking about maybe, getting sloshed in the studio. But we don't do that here because we are good boys. And that would go against UCI policy. And we do not want to be upset at the UC Board of Regents. And I'm not being sarcastic. Never do that. All right, listen. You come to the station, you got to hold some regards. So even if you're a guest, just don't be chugging brewskis at the station, please. We don't really like that because we are actually an AA center as well. That's cap. But what's not cap is what I said earlier. Anyways, what else do we have to do? Oh, yeah. shout out to Ethan if you're listening. You told me that I could tell something was up when you were listening to Morning View by Incubus. That might be the subject of next week's review. That's what I was going to do in addition to the CDI games, but I didn't end up doing that because this record came out. I'm a big fan. I wish I could play it, but it's Incubus, and the lowest and the song with the least amount of streams is 6.5 million. And we don't play like that here at KUCI, even for the talk shows, although I have made a few violations of that, especially in the beginning, because I'm a talk show. I be talking. I can word my way out of anything. I can't. Oh, also, I've been listening to Ba with the Ba by Kid Rock. My name is Kid. That's a darn good song. That song is so just feels like the absolute opposite of my vibe and style. I'm not no Southern dude. I'm not no white boy rapper. But here's the thing. With this new record, it might be White Boy Summer. White Boys and the Monster, Mountain Dew and the Monster Energy and the Ford F-150s when you haul literally nothing. I guess the new wave is Cybertrucks, but who drives a Cybertruck? A lot of people in this county. Hey, if you drive a Cybertruck, cool on you, but you're not stupid. I kind of like the look of the car, but their mother hates it, but I like it. I like it. If it wasn't a truck, I'd like it. What else is in here? Follow in flight. Okay, you know what? Oh man, I actually have to not put this on late. Oopsie daisies. Okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna cool it with. This might go over time. We're gonna play Follow in Flight from the Halo 2 Anniversary soundtrack. Why? Because I want to. This is it for the show. Okay, hold up. Let me pull out my nice little closing music here. Alrighty. Oh wait, hold up. I gotta get this set up. Whoops, gotta pull that back a little more. We're gonna have the isolated sound file. Alright, whatever. Alright, y'all. This has been Bass Tunes on KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. My name has been Ari. Follow me on Bass Tunes KUCI on Instagram. Stay tuned for next week. Stay based! Friday!